Today I'm going to show you how to blend two images together. One image is exposed for the shadows and most likely the foreground of your landscape image, and the other image is exposed for the highlights. You can see in this picture that the highlights are blown. However, I really like the exposure of the foreground. So I took another image and exposed for the sky, and this is what I got, and I really am happy with that. So I want to blend these two images together, and I'm going to select them both by holding down the Command key. Select one, hold down Command, select the other, go up to Photo, come down to Edit In, and come all the way across and all the way down to where it says Open as Layers in Photoshop, and click that. Now there are many ways to do this. This is just one way, and I wanted to show you how I like to do it when it's a complicated horizon. The clouds are not the same in both images, although I took them one right after the other. Because of the movement of the clouds, they are not exactly in the same spot. Now, if you have a clear horizon, it's much easier. So here we have the image that I like the sky in, and it is layered. If you look over here on the right, it's layered on top of the image with the good exposure for the foreground. So what we want to do is blend these two together. We want to keep the sky in the first picture and the foreground in the second picture. So if you think of this as two pieces of paper on top of each other, we're going to cut away this bottom portion of the top piece of paper to let the bottom image show. Okay? So what we're going to do is add what we call a mask to this top layer. So we go down to the bottom here of the Photoshop panel and choose the little rectangle with the black circle in it, and that will add a layer mask to the layer that we're working on. So in this image, we want to get rid of the bottom portion. It's too dark. So this white layer mask shows us that everything in that image is being revealed. And if we want to block something or get rid of it, or using my analogy of the paper, cut away that paper, we want to use a brush that is selected with the black square right here. That's the foreground color. Now it's not really going to paint black. What it's going to do on the layer mask is erase this part or cut this part away. Now because this is a very irregular horizon line, we're going to go about this very, very gently. So once we have our brush selected with black, because we have a white reveal here, we want the opposite. We're going to go up here to opacity at the top. Right now it's at 6% for opacity, and the flow is 100%. And those settings will be really good for what we want to do right now. So to change the size of my brush, I'm using the bracket keys. The right bracket makes it bigger, left bracket makes it smaller. I'm going to keep it pretty big because we are at a relatively low opacity. And I'm going to begin to blend these layers together by removing a portion of this darker area that I don't like. Now I'm not going to go way up into this because I want to save all of that sky. So we're going to start here kind of on the left where it's pretty dark. I'm going to click and hold and just drag that across, kind of trying to keep in line with the horizon area. And you can see it very gently lightening this darker bottom. And that's all I want to do on that. I'll take it right off the image. Excuse me. I'm going to do this one more time, but I'm going to bring my brush down just a little farther than I did last time. It won't be right on the very edge of the the, area that I'm removing And we're going to keep doing that until we have a nice blend. Now, I feel like this has transitioned pretty well here. I'm going to do it one more time and go up on that horizon just a little bit more. And then we'll go back this other way too. So that blends it pretty nicely. Now, in order to get rid of all of this, I don't want to have to keep going over it and over it with my 6% brush. Unlike Lightroom, I'm going to change this opacity, and it will not change everything else that I've already done. So I don't need to create a new mask or anything. I can go right up here to opacity, and I'm going to pull it up to about 25. Oh, let's go to 30. Now I'm going to stay on this darker area down here and just pull it across and through these trees. And as long as you hold your finger down on the mouse, it will not start over again. It will not renew the brush. Okay, I like the 30%. I'm going to go over the trees one more time. So I've released my mouse. I'm going to hold it down again and brush it off these lower trees here again. And one more time, just because I really think the trees there look pretty nice. And we'll go up onto this area of the block as well, or as the side of the mountain. Now, in some areas I've taken off too much, so I'm going to come over here and switch from a black brush to my white brush. And all I have to do is click this little double arrow and it switches. Now I have a white brush. I'm going to go back to the 6% opacity and add back in some of what I took off. I'm going to make my brush a little smaller here and add some of this back in. Because I really want it to have a nice transition. I don't want it to look abrupt, and we're going to add all of this, blend all of this again. Okay. I think I would like to have these trees revealed a little more, but let's just see. How much am I missing? A bit. Okay, so I'm going to come back up. I'm going to change my brush first back to the black brush. Come back up and increase it to about 12. Well, let's do 15. And one more time over the trees. I'm going smaller because I want to work in this area here a little bit and lighten this. That is way too much. So I'm going to come over here to my panel and step back one step. Adjust the brush opacity down to 6. We'll try that, see how that looks. There, that's blending it much, much better. So just continue blending, erasing, and putting back whatever you need to do within the images. Trial and error, and just seeing what you like and what you don't like. Maybe you want certain areas to be revealed more than others, and that's fine. It's your creative process. So by using the black and white brushes, you can really blend your images quite easily. It just takes a little bit of time and patience, and just really look and see if it's transforming in the way that you want it to. So good luck with this. If you have any questions, please reach out. Once I completed the blending of the two images to my satisfaction, I took it back into Lightroom and did a little more editing on it. And in fact, I cropped it to an 8:10 because I felt like the huge cloud at the top wasn't really contributing that much to the image, so eliminated part of that.